Hi everybody, Giselle Grenier here from artplace.ca. In today's video lesson, we're going to be making some miniature art, and it's based on the theme of a butterfly. And I'm going to be using some stuff that was gifted to me by my friend Patricia, and she sent some napkins, some really pretty napkins with butterflies. I love them, so I'm going to be using that in the piece. So let's go down to the table and see what I've got prepared. I have everything ready on my table, but I want to first show you the Happy Mail that I'm going to be using for the piece. So I received a Happy Mail from Patricia. Thank you so much. And I just have to share, she made a beautiful card for me. And this is one of the swaps that we did. And beautiful, beautiful card. And this butterfly, and I'm picking off this as inspiration for this. It's a beautiful tissue print, so it's a big cute little envelope. So I really like that, and you really love that. No, the butterflies. And she sent me the most amazing napkins and tissue. So I was looking at all this stuff, and there were some beautiful pieces, and that I loved, and little cutout flowers, and just love paper pieces. So I'm going to be using one of the napkins again. Thank you, Patricia, so much. And let me put that over here. So I pulled this one out here, and I did a little bit of prep work because it did take a little bit of time. So this is, so that's the napkin here, and this little doodad right here. Now, Patricia also sent some extra pieces of the small one, so I cut them out. Whoops. I cut them out. Now what I did for prep, and I'm going to go over the supplies in a sec. I just took some scrap, this is just, I don't know, some paper that I had, and I was doing some dendritic printing, so I just cut out one of the butterflies, fussy cut. You guys know how much I hate fussy cutting, but fussy cut it out to one. Then the other one, I just glued onto a piece of the paper, doesn't matter what side. Glued it with the matte medium, then let it dry, then cut it out as a base. So I was going to create my 3D piece. Wanted to make sure I got that out of the way because I knew I was going to forget. All right, so that's what I did with the napkins, and then we're going to use the extras. So for this, the base is going to be, this is miniature art. The base is going to be a piece of cardboard, and it's not the regular cardboard packaging that I use for, let's say, protein bars or something. This is a little bit thicker, but not as thick as corrugated cardboard, okay? So it's still pretty stiff. And then I took a piece of regular corrugated cardboard. I took a strip. So put that there. I'll put that aside. And I've got the napkins. And I did this ahead of time as well because I only had, I think, was one extra butterfly? One. Yeah, there was only one extra butterfly, so I didn't want to mess it up during the video because I didn't have anything else to use. Got that. I've got a fortune cookie quote. If you have something good in your life, don't let it go. And I've got my paints. Get my arms in the way here. So I'm going to be using DecoArt Media, Gesso, white gesso, matte medium, and then the paints. And I may use all of these, may not. I'm going to put these here as well, just in case, because use whatever colors you want. Phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, Hansa yellow light, burnt sienna, and titanium white. These are the fluid acrylics. I don't think I'm going to need the quinacridone magenta and napthol red light. This is my limited palette. I don't think I'm going to need these. I'm going to put that aside. And I'm not sure if I'm going to need the ultramarine blue. We'll see. But all the supplies will be on my blog, so you'll be able to use that. And extra pieces here. I don't know if I'm going to use these again, but they'll be in the supply list. My number 8 Bristle Bright, which I used to gesso the pieces. I've got, on the side here too, a large and a small shader brush. And I've got a stencil brush, which I don't think I'm going to use. Pouncers, a round brush, and my palette knife. And I've got these little flexible pieces, very flexible but stiff, that comes with the palette knife. Again, so just check out the blog for the complete supply list that you can download. So the first thing I want to do is grab some paper towel, and I'm going to get the gesso. I had to spray a little bit of water in this because it was getting pretty thick, and I'm going to take some gesso. Now to prepare the card, I've already prepared this side. I'll just do the back side. And I'm just pushing into the card. And what that's doing is getting the gesso into all the little nooks and crannies. You can, you know, apply it this way if you want. I like pushing it when I'm working on a thick piece, especially cardboard because it's so textured. And then as I start putting it on, it'll start to dry, and then I'll go different angles. And what I get is all these different patterns. You should be able to see it there. All these different patterns. And when you paint it, well, if you're going to paint it, it retains all those brush strokes and it creates some really nice texture. And you don't have to do this. I just love texture in my pieces. Okay, that's that. Then for this one here, let's do this. Well, no, I'm going to tear. I want to tear a piece here. Tear some strips off this. I have to be very careful. This is a little small. This probably would have been easier if I did it as a 4x4, which I still may do. But this is a nice little way to do it. Prototype. This cardboard is super thick. Holy smokies. There we go. So something like that. There we go. I'm going to keep these pieces. And now I'm just going to dry brush some gesso on there. Dry brush means I'm not wetting the brush and I'm not adding any extra paint. And might as well use whatever's left over. This is just to get rid of it. You don't have to do this. I just hate wasting paint. I do enough of that when I'm doing the videos. And when you put gesso on, especially if you've got some weak pieces, it also helps. It also acts as a little bit of a glue. Especially here. I've got a piece here that's... There we go. Now you're not going anywhere. Alrighty. Put that aside. Okay, so let me think. So while that's drying, let's take the tissue and I'm just going to cut it into a bunch of strips. And what that's going to do is create some patterns in the background. So I've got the light pieces. And I'm going to put the blue pieces over here. And what this will do, will also make the card a bit thicker. And I'm wanting to use some of this. You know what I get into a habit of? Oh, I did have 2 butterflies. I get into a habit of, stuff is so beautiful, I don't want to use it. That's something I really have to, especially when it's gifted to me. I want to use that word, magnolia. So I'm going to get, come on, I have a piece here just to place it. It won't matter because the strip's going to be on there. Yeah, oh darn. Okay, well, it was a nice try. I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but oh well, I'm going to stick to my original plan. Alright, so that's what happens when you start to create and you've got all this stuff around you and it just gets so inspiring. I'm thinking I want some text on this as well, but I'm going to keep that. I'm going to keep that. So I know this looks kind of boring and stuff, but it's my mind is going. It's a thought process, and I don't have a rehearsed script. I do have some notes of stuff that I want to make sure I cover for you, because these videos are geared more towards beginners and intermediates. So I have notes of what I make sure I don't forget, and I do talk a lot because I talk about the process and I explain it, because I would rather you not leave the video wondering how I did something. I want to cover everything, and then if you're more advanced, you can just fast forward. So I'm just going to dry this quickly. And if your hand starts to, if it gets too hot, pull the heat gun away. I usually start about a foot, and well, when I'm teaching, I usually start about a foot, and then I move it in and move it out. I know what that heat gun can do, so let's start collaging. So I'm going to use my matte medium. You can use a decoupage medium as well, no problemo. And get my little butterfly. So when I did the butterfly, I used a small brush on the piece to collage it. But when we're working with these large pieces, I like using a larger brush because I like putting many layers on this. So this one here, I'm going to put this as the, let's see, the dark pieces, because there's going to be a contrast. So I'm just going to overlap these. It's pretty straightforward at this point. Just going to overlap. And see how it's creating some patterning. Keeping the basic look, the basic pieces, the flat pieces here, because that's where the strip's going to go. But I want to make sure I have some little pieces that are sticking out. Whoops. When the swaps that are going on there at artplace.ca, what I love about the swaps that there's the people that participate, some of them are actually send out all this Happy Mail extras with the little swaps, which is really kind of nice. Not mandatory though, but kind of nice, because especially from where they are in the world, we might not have the opportunity to actually have access to that stuff. So it's nice when we can get a hint of what kind of art stuff that people have access to. And I am really grateful when I get Happy Mail like this. Sometimes it's a challenge though using it if it's not really my style. It's a challenge using it. This is so my style. The blue is a bit uncomfortable for me, like this type of blue, but it's working. I'm getting better. Getting better. I'm just going to build it up and build it up and build it up. You notice I'm going on different angles. It's creating some interesting texture. You don't even have to go all the way to the sides. What I don't like is corners like that. That's just me. I love torn paper. I love wrinkles. So use whatever you have. I'm pretty sure we all have some type of napkins around. You don't have napkins? Use paper towel. Use paper towel. You see how many layers I'm putting on here. So this is a great way to build up a heavier base on your card. The other thing is that when you get the DecoArt Media, the matte medium and the decoupage medium, super, super, super adhesive. So make sure you clean your hands. Wash your hands after. And let's put that right there. So look at all these different patterns and stuff. Love it, love it, love it, love it. just going to put a little bit of whatever's left over on my brush on the edges. Right, here's a little piece here. Just helps seal the paper. And what to a good recommendation, and I'm saying this to people, that when you're creating your pieces, create a whole bunch at once. You know, take a whole bunch of cards, 4x4s, whatever you want, and just cut them all out. Prepare the backgrounds, and so they're all ready to go. Or if you like doing them one by one, do that. That's nothing wrong with that. All right, put that aside. Now, let's do this little guy. So I'm going to, this one's just going to be a little bit more particular. Whoopsie. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Just a matter of just finding. I want something not too patterned. There we go. Get off me. Yeah, like that. And this dries translucent. So I'm just going to put that right there. And wrap that around the back, because I am not going to cut that. There we go. It's almost like a skin, just to break up that cardboard. And I need a tiny, 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 tiny piece. Again, you can do this. You don't have to. Just a little bit of contrast there. You can also paint it. We're going to do that too. Okay, I'm going to take all these, put those aside. Oh, and while this is drying, I want to show you, I've been getting emails, people asking me where I get my quotes. And what I've done over the years is I've been gathering, culling all these quotes. There's another one I'm going to use. There's no such thing as an ordinary cat. That's another piece I'm going to be doing shortly. Okay, so what I've done, first of all, I've taken, this is for another piece I'm going to be doing. This one right here. I'm going to be working with something like that. I find words that I really like, and then I throw them into my scan and cut to cut out letters and stuff like that. That's one way. But what I really like to do is when I cull all these quotes, I have them in a file folder. So I print them out, and I print them out in a certain size so they fit. No, they're not any wider than 2.5 inches. And some I've printed on canvas paper, and some I've printed on just regular photocopy paper. And longer ones I've done this way. That way I can actually stamp it, handwrite it. I've got single words. The single words, I've got them all stapled here. And the fortune cookie quotes, what I do is I want to really challenge myself. So I've got my really nice skull jar here. I cut them up and I put them in here. And what I'll do is I'll, go here, grab one. People are naturally attracted to you, and use that as my jump off point for my piece. The other way is to create your piece, then go through the folder and look for something that's appropriate. But this one here, using a jar and the prompts, is a lot more challenging. And this one here, what is this? Oh, that's going to be for an upcoming swap. That's a secret. All right. So that's where I get my quotes. And I will be putting together a collection of them to save you guys some time. All right, so I'm going to go get a cup of tea, let this dry a bit more, and then when we come back, we'll start splattering some paint and start gluing stuff together. I have to strengthen that fortune cookie quote. Actually, this is an absolute waste of paper. I should have put it to the side, but that's okay. So let that dry. It's too flimsy. All right. So what I want to do is I want to start splattering. So I'm going to be using the fluid acrylics. And I'm thinking I want a teal. Teal. Phthalo blue, I need just that much. It is super strong. Super strong. This is me being lazy. Look at that. That's something I have to stop. I keep saying I have to stop, but you know what? When I get into making art, I focus on art, not on kind of housekeeping. Housekeeping, which I should. Try with that. I'm going to take my round brush and I'm going to wet that white down, bring in some of that blue, hit it with just a speck of yellow. There we go. Tiny bit more water. I don't know if this is going to work. I've never done it with this brush before. And, oh, it does work. And it's going to be so subtle. So when you're doing this, make sure you don't have a tablet or a phone or anything around. The back of my phone, I've got paint all over it. All right, so I'm just going to wet that, rinse out that brush, and then I'm going to take the yellow and do the same thing. I don't want it to be too opaque. Pretty. So that's with that brush. You can also, try, let me try with this one. I want to get some blue. Problem with these is that sometimes the splotches are too big. You'll never get them perfect. Ooh, bit much, but I'm gonna leave that. That's a bit much. What about if we drip? What about if we drip? Yay. Look at that. I like that. See? Happy accident. There we go. Oh, I like that. Like that. Okay, that's got to dry. I'm going to hit this with the heat gun. Try not to move the paint too much, so it'll be high up. Put a speck of paint on. And I'm going to bring out some red, Napthol red light. a speck of orange. Where's my brush? I'll use my round brush for that. Way too much paint, but it's be easier for you guys to see. Okay. And it's a bit dark. And I want to create a little bit of an orange mixture. Very pale. And I'm going to wipe that off on a paper towel. And I'm just going to drag that down. It's going to create a little bit of a contrast. The color was too close, the butterfly. So I just want to create a little bit of a contrast. Take a little bit of the white. A little bit of the darker parts. Okay, just like that. And it's a contrasting color to the blue. So that was another batch of wasted paint. Wasted paint, wasted paint, wasted paint. I think I would have liked to have used an actual orange, but it would have been too dark. Okay, let me just dry this for a sec. I'm going to put that there. And then the idea is then to put, we're going to assemble the butterflies. The butterflies are going to go here. The quote's going to go on here, so we have some nice contrast. I still want to do something with this, and I'm wondering, I mean, everybody's going to have their own idea of what I should do with this, but I do want to put that in there. It's 2 pieces of text, so I want to make sure that the focus goes on the butterfly and not the wording. You still have to, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Still have to paint and distress this. So I'm thinking like that. Oh, actually, that works out. Oh, okay. There we go. Done. We're finished. Thank you for watching. All right. That's going to dry. Let me just get this one taken care of. Sometimes things just happen. Sometimes things just happen. Matte medium. Again, another coat on this is just going to make things stronger. Oh, I should fire up my glue gun right at the top. See, it's very subtle. I'm going to wrap that around the back. You don't have to, you can cut it if you want. I finished the backs of, well, I tried to finish the backs of all the art pieces that I do. Because people always turn the cards over, always turn the art pieces over. Okay, so I'm going to put this, I'm going to rest this up like that so the back side has time to dry. I wonder if I can just, yeah, that'll actually be all right. Yeah, I'm not going to bother with the glue gun. It'll be all right. Oh, we have to finish the edges first. So I'm going to take a little bit of ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, roughly equal parts. Then in there I'm going to take a little bit of Napthol red light. See, I should have kept what was there, not throw it away. and make sure that I don't have any white paint in the brush. So I'm going to take the two, and what I'm creating is a chromatic black, which is black made with color, and I'm putting this a bit more on the blue side. Then I'm going to touch in a little bit of red. So the burnt sienna neutralizes it. It's a little bit more on the violet side. You can use Payne's gray if you want. Okay, so that's a good mixture. And then I'm going to take my Pouncer, this one here. And all I'm going to do is just touch in, and I'm pouncing on the edges, and what's happening is that the sponge is actually gently wrapping itself around the piece, and it colors the front and the back at the same time. And if you've never done this before and you're not sure, apply a little bit of matte medium to the front and back, because you can always then wipe it down. You can see how nice and dark those edges are getting. See? And then in the little nooks and crannies, you can use a brush. And I'm just going to kind of pounce like this, put a little bit on the top, rub a little bit. And what this is just to get rid of that white edge. So don't forget, I glued the tissue onto a piece of paper. Okay. And, oh, all that waste. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to take that and let's do the same thing here. I want this to be more Payne's gray though. So let's take the other side and just soften that. Love it. Whoops. You can fit, there's 1,000 ways that you can finish this. Just use whatever works for you. I love edging my pieces because it just, this cardboard is super crooked. It just makes them look a little bit more finished. I also like how it's a little bit rougher. Then I can take whatever's left over, so there's no waste, and just put that on the back. It's a beautiful color. And I'm going to be putting a piece of rice paper that's with a handwritten, you know, my name and the date and all that stuff on there, so that'll show through. And as it starts to dry, you can just add a little bit more, a little bit more. And again, if you're not sure, put a coat of either a workable varnish or the matte medium, or even better, decoupage medium in a satin finish, because that way you can wipe it off really easy. The matte medium, sometimes it's got a little bit of, because it's matte, it's got a little bit of texture to it. It's a little bit harder to clean up, to wipe up some, not mistakes, we don't make mistakes, some little undesirable effects. How's that? That looks like a little bird. That looks like a little birdie. Oh, look at the mess. All right. Let's start assembling this. And take my little brush again. You can use a glue gun for this, and I'm going to be okay with the matte medium if your card is going to be flat, if your art is a flat piece and it's not going to bend at all, then you can use a glue gun. If it's a piece that's likely to be flexible, don't use a glue gun, because you don't want your elements snapping off. I have that happen a lot when I use buttons. The buttons snap off.
I'm just getting some on the corners. And what I have is I have a piece of the no stick craft mat. I'm just going to put that there. And let's see. Oh, you know what? I'll put my phone on top of it. There. That'll take care of that. And let's do this. So I'm just going to put just around the body here. And I'm not going to go to the outside edges. I'm just going to probably think of like a square. And I also crumpled the butterfly because I wanted it to stick up. And just align it there. Use the flat edge of the brush just to push it down. There we go. And then, and it's up to you how far you want to crinkle this. There you go. So it looks like that. Put that aside. Now let's work on this one here. And once that's done, we just have to glue everything together. Got blue, we got blue. I'm just going to, you know, see, I should have kept, you know what, let's see. I don't think I have anything left. I don't think I have anything left. No, darn. I'm being especially careful today with cleaning my table because I had a accident with Chaos yesterday, and she jumped on my table and right into, because she's so quiet. Okay, so I'm just going to do the same thing with the edges. I try to clean up my table now. Unless I know she's somewhere where she's sleeping for sure, then I can leave the paint on the table. And I'm getting away from using those water-soluble inks, like the Distress inks, to do edges, because they are water-soluble. I like my stuff to be permanent. That doesn't mean it's wrong to use them. I just prefer something more permanent. Oh, that worked. So now as I'm just smudging, and then I get a little bit of a nice little rough edge on that. I'm going to press a little bit harder, see if I can do it again. And the matte medium just makes it super simple to do that. A little bit more pressure on the corners. Get that nice little rustic look. Like that. Do I need this paint for anything else? Where's Chaos? She's sitting in the door. Nope, not taking a chance. Sorry. Let's assemble. All right. I was looking at the liquid glass, but no. So let's see. I want you there. So I'm gonna see, this is where the glue gun would come in handy, because you can put the glue gun right in there, and because it's so thick, it creates some really good dimension. This will dry clear. what I'm thinking? Oh, here she goes. She's changing her mind again. Not really. I'm just going to add. I just wanted to break that up. Just wanted to add a little bit of something under there. You'll see when I'm done. I wanted to break up that peach. Now this is showing through. Now it's more orange. I was looking for more of an orange. I just went a little bit off on my color mixes. All right. Right about there. See, it just creates a little bit of something extra there. And here, I mean, you can even put this just on the side here like this. You can put it straight. I'm going to put it on a contrasting angle. And I probably should have moved that piece. It's too late. That piece is, it should have moved it over a bit more. I wanted it to be more in the center. Ah, that's fine. Let's just go with the flow. That I'm definitely going to have to press down. So I'm going to put a lot more medium inside. Again, the glue gun would be, the glue gun probably would have been good for this part. There. It's a little bit long. A little bit long. So why don't we put something under there? So while that dries, I'm going to find something to put under here to support it. Those little pop dots, those would work. All right. Whoopsie. Oh, she's walking over here. Okay, no more glue. All right, so let's just put that up here to dry, and I'm going to go search for something to support the quote. When in doubt, go to your buttons. But I'm going to use sea glass instead. So I had a little piece here, tiny little piece that would fit just perfect underneath, and it would be hidden. I thought, no, let's use another opportunity just to create another level of dimension. There. That's what I'm going to use. Back to my matte medium. Where's Chaos? Oh, she's still sitting there. And I'm just going to glue that down, and then it just has to dry, and that's it. Now, because there's a lot of stuff happening on this, I'm going to let the drying time, give it a bit more time for drying time. So I won't, there we go, supports it perfectly. Put it on an angle. I'm going to get a baby wipe. I'm going to let this dry for a couple of days before deciding what to do with it. It's always nice when you have the time to let your pieces dry. There we go. Done. That turned out better than I thought. My one thing that I would like to have changed, which not a deal breaker, is the orange. I wanted that to be a little bit more orange, not so peachy, but I think it turned out just fine. And from there, I mean, you can really embellish this any way you want. You can add rhinestones to it. You can add little stones. You can do whatever you want. Make sure I crinkle that. I really want that butterfly to be crinkled. Look at the nice texture on that. And then once this is dry, all that matte medium is going to be clear. So we're ready to go. So I hope that you really enjoyed this project, and I absolutely love the little card. And one of the things that when you're creating your little miniature art is, before doing the photography, is to leave it as a matte finish, take your pictures and stuff like that, and then you can varnish it with gloss after the fact. I've always liked to varnish gloss because I like the shine, and I like showing that on video, but it's so hard for photography, the glare and stuff like that. And with all the studio lights here, just there's no way to avoid it. So so leave it matte for photography purposes, and then when you're finished, then you can varnish it any way you want, and then you can do what you want with it. So I hope that you enjoyed this. Now, what I'd like you to do is comment below the video to let me know what you thought about it, if you had some ideas on creating your own miniature art as well. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything, because I've got some really cool projects coming up for you to watch. Alrighty, so feel free also to share pictures in our private Facebook group, or you can email it to me. Links to both of those are at artplace.ca. Alright, you guys, so I will see you later. It's pouring rain outside, so I think I'm going to have to drag the dog out for a walk. Alright, so until I see you next time, stay inspired.